Frenzies, and welcome back to day 21 of my 30-day vlogging challenge. I thought today that I would talk about classroom pets. Introduce you to mine. Dun dun dun! Here he is. His name is Trogdor, and he is a bearded dragon, very easy classroom pet. Here we go. And yeah, I thought me and Trogdor could do a little show for you, and I'll teach you everything I know about classroom pets. I've had 3 of them. Hey Frenzies, welcome back to my classroom pets edition. I don't know why my head just started itching. Anyway, I got another cute fuzzy ball shirt on, and I also have my little buddy Trogdor here. He loves furry blankets when he doesn't get his nails stuck in them. Here. How's that? Are you happy now? You're on camera. You're supposed to be a little more lively than this. Anyway, okay, so let's start with classroom pets, shall we? Reasons to get a classroom pet, in case you're not sold. 1, it teaches empathy. It teaches the kids how to care about something other than themselves. 2, the kids that have really rough home lives, it gives them something to focus, love, and attention on. And it also helps them build responsibility skills, and it gives them a job to do. You can incorporate taking care of your classroom pet as a job in your classroom. It makes everybody happy. I could go on and on. I had Trogdor here, was my pet for 2 years, and then I switched schools, and my new school, my role wasn't really one that I could have a classroom pet in, so he just became my own pet. It's just me and him now. Aren't we adorable? So anywho, I'll tell you about my 3 classroom pets and why they make great pets, and then I'll tell you about pets that don't make the greatest pets. So I hope I'm not shouting in his ear right now. I'm like, does he look annoyed? I don't know. What do you guys think? I did name him after Homestar Runner. There is a cartoon about this dragon man. It's a really funny little cartoon. I actually show it to the kids, even though there's like one kind of bad word in it. It's not like a real bad word, but it's like a borderline bad word. I'm not even gonna say what it is. It's not real bad, but anyway, it's a really funny little cartoon, and it's about this dragon man. That's how Trogdor got his name. Okay, let's begin. So I got Trogdor was a I didn't go to a pet store and buy him. So one of the teachers at my school, he had 30 classroom pets, and I started asking him about his classroom pets, and he had like kind of a zoo. He was a science teacher, so it made a lot of sense, but I was asking him questions, and he had a lot of snakes and lizards and spiders. Yeah, spiders. You don't really like spiders, do you? So anywho, I started talking to my coworker about pets, and I told him that I was always interested in getting a bearded dragon. He was kind of like, he had all these different pets in his classroom, and he told me the best pets were lizards because their environment is pretty easy to control. They're easy to take care of. We're already in a desert climate, so it's really dry here. They pretty much just eat bugs and crickets and stuff. So he was like, you should get a lizard of some kind. And so I said, well, when I was a kid, I always wanted to have a bearded dragon because I think they're really cool looking. You want to look at yourself a little bit more? Oh, that is not, there are no bugs on this. So you can do that all you want. No. So anywho, I told him I always wanted a bearded dragon as a kid, and I asked him, is that a good classroom pet? And he said, yeah, bearded dragons are awesome classroom pets, but they're kind of expensive to care for because they eat a lot of crickets. They're a big lizard and they eat a lot. So I was like, oh, okay. And then a few weeks later, he came into my classroom, and he had Trogdor on his shoulder. And he was like, and I found out that he's sort of like this snake and lizard whisperer where we lived, and that people were constantly giving them their pets that they couldn't take care of anymore. Like maybe they just couldn't afford to take care of them. Maybe they're moving and weren't allowed to have them, so they would give them to this coworker of mine, and that's how he got Trogdor. As a family surrendered him and just said we can't take care of him anymore, and he was like, well, I think I know someone who can, and that's how I got him. He's a very unique bearded dragon because he's really orange and red. Bearded dragons come in all different colors. He's real spiky. He did not want to be on camera anymore. He's on the ground now. So anywho, I got Trogdor, the bearded dragon, and he is really easy to take care of. You just need a really big, like 55-gallon tank, I'd say. Like you need a really big tank for bearded dragons. You can get those really cheap at thrift stores. And then he uses like a special kind of sand and just one log and one water dish, and then he eats crickets. They like other things too, like strawberries and kale sometimes, but honestly, he doesn't like the fruits and vegetables like he likes the crickets. Crickets are his main game, and I've had him now for, oh gosh, 5 or 6 years, and he's been in perfect health. So, and every time I talk about bearded dragons, I'll get all these people writing me like, oh, he should be eating this and he should be eating that. And it's like, well, I've tried those things and he really just likes crickets. So will I give him a plate of strawberries, a little kale, sometimes some blueberries? Sure, but he'll eat like 1 or 2 and then he'll be done. He's just done. He also loves mealworms too. So anywho, he was a great class pet. I highly recommend a bearded dragon. They're very friendly. They're kind of like the dogs of dragons. Anyway, they love people, they love attention. Most beardies are very nice, but you do have to watch like where you get one. Like if you got one as a baby and it was used to being handled, that would be good. But like if you buy one from say Craigslist or a pet store, like you really want to make sure it's one that's been handled, because their jaws are strong enough to bite off a pinky. So you don't want to get one that has any aggressive tendencies. And when you're hanging out with a bearded dragon, if you're around an aggressive one, they bob their head up and down and they puff out their cheeks. And so you want to be careful like that you're not getting an aggressive one. You want one that's... So my 2 other class pets I got a leopard gecko, really great class pet. Kids that really loved him, and I ended up giving him to one of the kids at the end of the year. This little girl had kept buying him crickets all year and taking care of him, and she really showed the most interest, and her family said it was fine. So at the end of the year, I just gave her the leopard gecko. And then I also had a tarantula. And tarantulas are very creepy. I'm not gonna lie. They shed their entire like exoskeleton. So like one day I came in the classroom and the first thing I do is kind of like go to the tarantula's cage and make sure it was still there. And I saw 2 of them and I totally freaked out. It was like 2 tarantulas, the same size, side by side, just staring at me. But it was the exoskeleton that she had shed. And the more crickets, they eat crickets too. Tarantulas like crickets as well. So if you have like tarantulas and lizards, for the most part, they eat crickets and worms and stuff. And so you can kind of buy them the same stuff. So like all of my classroom pets just ate crickets. So I could get, 70 crickets a week, and that was enough to feed them. But I will warn you that tarantulas, like the more they eat, the faster they grow and the more they shed their exoskeleton. So, and it's real creepy. It's a weird thing to walk into. Okay. My co-teacher had a lot of snakes, but of course snakes like eating mice and stuff. And so that's like, if you're not really comfortable with that, not the greatest class pet. Interesting, but not really. A lot of my buddies have had fish, different types of fish. Fish they die a lot, and then it's awkward if someone gets attached to them. Some people think that turtles make great pets, but a lot of different kinds of turtles have like salmonella on their shells, and it's real easy to spread that to kids. So turtles, like snapping turtles, the kind you see at PetSmart and Petco, are actually sort of bad classroom pets. And you might disagree with me, but they're not the healthiest ones to have in a classroom. Same goes with frogs. I mean, turtles and frogs frogs are really cute, but they're hard to maintain their environments. They get sick easy, and they can make the kids pretty sick easy. So that's why my friend was like, yeah, you should just go with lizards, because they're, you know, for the most part, most of them are pretty friendly, especially bearded dragons. They live a pretty long time. They don't get sick very often. They're so easy to take pets. I've heard rats. Rats are really smart. They're not that hard to take care of. There's a lot you can do with them. You can find really friendly ones. Okay, now some bad turtles and frogs, not always the greatest classroom pets. Fish die super easy. Not always the best conversation to have when you come in the morning and all your fish are dead. That happened to me quite a few times. I've heard that like rabbits and guinea pigs and hedgehogs, there's a lot of like smaller rodent types. Hedgehogs are rodents, right? And I know a lot of people have them as classroom pets, but I've heard that it's a lot to maintain. They can be noisy while you're teaching. They can cause a bit of a ruckus, especially rabbits. I've heard that rabbits, like if you have a science classroom, there's a lot of really cool teachers on Instagram that have hedgehogs and rabbits. And if you have a science classroom, I think that's great if you want to take care of them. But I just heard from other people that rabbits and guinea pigs and even mice, hamsters, gerbils, a lot of the rodent classroom pets are, you know, not only are they kind of expensive and hard to take care of, changing their bedding, getting them food, stuff like that, but they're noisy and they're messy and they smell bad and they can cause allergies. So one cool thing about getting a lizard is nobody's going to be allergic to a lizard in your classroom, but kids are allergic to all kinds of things. So like anything with hair, you have the chance that you're going to have to get rid of it because a parent will complain about its hair. Me and Trogdor have to go. I hope you enjoyed this episode all about classroom pets. Again, I highly recommend the bearded dragons, the leopard geckos, the tarantula. It was really creepy, but she was really easy to take care of, and the kids loved her. Now, I did not take my tarantula out of the cage for people to play with, but she was fascinating to watch, especially like eating crickets and stuff like that. Anyways, yep. Anyway, I would encourage you, if you do get a classroom pet, you know, really make a lifelong job, or you move and you switch schools, that you're willing to find your beardy a really good home, or you're willing to take your beardy home. I'm a strong believer in making a commitment to animals. You don't want to let your bearded dragon or a lizard just go, even if you live in the desert. You know, he's not from this continent, so that would be scary for him. He would not do good. So anyway, I hope you all learned something. If you have any questions about having a bearded dragon as a pet, good luck. I mean, my kids loved Trogdor, and I still have former students writing me about him. I set him up a Facebook page, and some of the kids followed him. So there's a lot of fun things you can do. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this, and we will talk to you next vlog. Say bye, Trogdor. Bye, everybody. Do you want any final words? No?